Hello. Today we are going to discuss about development of the Newar community and the Newari language in the Kathmandu Valley. And also we discuss about history and present of the Newar community. Are Newars indigenous or tribal? I am proud to be Newa. Let's look into the history of where the Newars first came from and how the Newari society developed. It is hard to believe since it is so long ago. Nepal Mandal or Soniga is now called Kathmandu Valley. It is believed that the Newar community developed from this Soniga. Everything changes with time. The Newar community has also undergone many changes. About 90% of the Newars are indigenous. The rest are newcomers. There is probably no one who has lived in the world since the beginning. It is said that the origin of the human race was some in China, some in Africa. They are the ones who spread all over the world. It is said that Manjushri opened the water of the valley and made it a place to live. Are the Newars who look like that really living in the valley? Indigenous people are those who came and settled before the ruling caste. The ruling caste of Nepal today is the Nepali or Khas-speaking Bahuns, Kshetris and Thakuris. They came 400 to 500 years ago, while the Newars came before that. Therefore, the Newars should be called indigenous. To clarify this, we have to delve into Nepali history.
The Gopal dynasty and the Maheshpal dynasty, called Sapu and Mepu respectively in Nepali, are the primitive ancestors of the present Newar community that developed human settlements in the Kathmandu Valley. The kings of the Gopal dynasty ruled Nepal for 505 years. The first king of the Gopal dynasty, Buktaman, was the first to rule the Kathmandu Valley. But there is no mention of the Chandra dynasty, the ancestor of the Gopal dynasty. There were 8 kings of this dynasty and Yakshgupta was the last king. After them came the Maheshpal dynasty. The Gopal dynasty and the Maheshpal dynasty were from the same dynasty and were divided into 2 parts based on their occupation. There were 3 kings of the Maheshpal dynasty. Bar Singh or Bara Singh, his son Jai Singh or Jaimati Singh and his son Bhuvan Singh were defeated by the first Kirati king Yalambar. After the arrival of the Kirati rulers, the descendants of Gopali and Maheshpali were integrated into the Newar community. The Kirat period is a period in the history of Nepal. 900,000 Kirats are a native people of the jungle and hills, who came to live from Central Asia, India and the Himalayas. It is mentioned in various historical sources that 27 to 32 Kirat kings ruled in Nepal for about 800 years. Among the descendants of these Kirat kings, Sunuvar, Rai, Limbu, Yakha, etc., are known as the original inhabitants of Nepal. The practice of all brothers of the Kirats being kings is called the Kirat rule. The last king of the Kirat period is considered to be Jaitgast. After the Kirat period, the Lichavi period is considered to have begun in Nepal. But no concrete evidence has been found to identify the first king of the Lichavi period. But due to the victory of the Gupta emperor of Magad in North India, the Lichavi kings of Vaishali could not survive there and came to the Kathmandu Valley. According to the inscriptions, coins and records of the Changunarayan Temple, Mandev was the first historical king of the Lichavi dynasty. In the Lichavi dynasty, there was a king named Supushpa, who is considered to be the founder of the Lichavi dynasty. However, 16 generations before Mandev, Jaidev I is believed to have laid the foundation of the Lichavi kingdom in the 2nd century of Vikram Samvat. The reign of King Mandev is considered important in the history of the Lichavi period. Ancient history from the time of Mandev has been reliably clear and authenticated, therefore he is known as a proven king. From 400 to 750 AD, the Lichavi ruled in Kathmandu, the current capital of Nepal. At that time, Anshuvarman had a close marital relationship with the Indian king Harshavardhan. After Anshuvarman, Narendra Dev was supported by the Indian princes. After Narendra, the entire kingdom was divided into small princely states due to the rule of the Gupta dynasty. All these events date back to BC, the period from 936 AD, when Nepal was unified, to 1825 AD, and the 900-year period after the end of the Lichavi period and before the fall of the Mallas, is called the medieval period in the history of Nepal. In fact, the medieval period is commonly referred to as the Mull period in the context of Nepal. The Mull dynasty was the ruling dynasty of the Kathmandu Valley of Nepal from the 13th to the 18th centuries. The Mullas, beginning with Aridev Mull in 1201 AD, ruled the Kathmandu Valley and the surrounding area, which was known as Nepal or Nepal Mandal, and its citizens were known as Nepmi or Newars. The Mullas, who originated from Kushinagar and its vicinity in India, also came to the Gandaki region of Nepal as refugees. As Raja Ladev and Kathaya Mull established the Champagiri, Chapgaon, settlement located south of Lalitpur, the Mullas seem to have tried to increase their political influence in Kathmandu. As people of different castes were mixing in the Newar community of the Kathmandu Valley, it seems that King Jayasthiti Mull also had to be drawn in. Jayasthiti Mull was brought to the valley from South Mads and married to Rajdevi. Despite being a son-in-law by relationship, Jayasthiti Mull succeeded in becoming the king of Nepal Mandal due to the political situation at the time. On this basis, he gradually established himself in the then Nepalese governance system. Jayasthiti Mull held the throne for only 15 years. However, he had carried out many reforms. Major works, writing of Gopal Raj Vansavli, established a society based on Manusmriti and alphabet by bringing scholars like Raghunath Jha, Ramnath Jha, Kirthinath Upthaya, Mahanath Bhatta etc. from India for social reform, divided the society into 4 castes and 18 varnas and divided the labor, measuring the land and dividing it into 4 levels based on production capacity as Abal, Doyam, Sim, Chahar, sending a trading team to China to increase trade with Tibet. Necessary improvements in Mana, Pati, Dhak, and scales to modernize the measurement and weighing, land sale and mortgage system, establishment of Ram Temple with Lavakush at Pashupti Ghat, Kumbheshwar Temple in Lalitpur, Unmatta Bhairav, enforced the practice of changing a woman's surname to a man's after marriage. In the latter half of the 15th century, the Kathmandu Valley was divided into 4 kingdoms, Bhaktapur, Bhadgaon, Kathmandu, Kantipur, Patan, Lalitpur, and Banepa. The division resulted in many conflicts between the rulers, weakening the dynasty. On the other hand, there was a Chalukya Sen dynasty in Bengal. Nanyadev was the general of the Chalukya king. He founded the Tirhut Doya kingdom and made Simrongad his capital. Fearing the Muslim invaders, Shuddin Tughlaq, Nanyadev's great-grandson Hari Singh Dev tried to reach Bhaktapur via Salahi district. But he died on the way. His son took refuge in the court of Bhaktapur. Their surname was Rajput. In Newari, Ra is called La. Therefore, their surname became Lapu. The descendants of Hari Singh Dev Lapu went to join Shrestha. During the reign of Bhaktapur's king Bhuptindra Mall, some doctors came from Gujarat, India. They started working as royal doctors in the court, so they were called Rajvedya. The doctors who came with them but did not reach the royal court were not the best and merged with other castes. Among the Brahmins, Devkota, Rimal, Acharya, Subedi, these Upadhyaya Brahmins of various clans who came from outside and settled in the Nepal Valley 600-700 years ago spoke Newari. They are called Rajupadhyaya or Nevar Bahun. Similarly, the Brahmins of the Jha, Ojha Mishra clan, who came from the Terai also came here and spoke the Neval language and became Newar Brahmins. Thus, after they came and settled in the Kathmandu Valley 800-900 years ago and spoke the Neval language, they started being called Newar. Thus, if we look at the structure of the Newars, the Newar is a caste formed by the fusion of people from different places and different castes. After the death of King Narbhupal Shah of Gorkha in 1799 BS, his eldest son Prithvi Narayan Shah, who took over the kingdom, began the unification of Nepal with the idea of expanding the kingdom. He first attacked Nuwakot in 1800 BS, but was defeated that time. He attacked again in 1801 BS and conquered Nuwakot. After that, he suffered heavy defeats in the battles of Kirtipur in 1814 BS and 1821 BS. In this battle, the Kertipurites killed the commander Kalu Pandey and even gouged out the eyes of Prithvi Narayan Shah's brother Surapratap. On 3 Chaitra 1822 BS, he attacked Kirtipur again and achieved victory. Prithvi Narayan attacked on the day that Indra Jatra was being celebrated in Kathmandu on the 4th day of the month of Bhadra Shukla in 1825 BS and achieved victory. After this, he successively conquered Lalitpur on 22nd Ashwin 1825 BS and Bhaktapur on Kartik 1826 BS. After conquering the Kathmandu Valley, Prithvi Narayan Shah moved his capital from Gorkha to Kathmandu in 1826 BS and established the new kingdom of Nepal. Even after the death of Prithvi Narayan, the Shah dynasty's expansion campaign did not stop. Nepal also experienced many ups and downs during the Shah period. There were British attacks, Rana rule for 104 years, the 2046 movement, Maoist attacks, court massacres, etc. The Shah dynasty in Nepal also ended in 2063 BS. Among the Shah dynasty kings, we cannot forget King Mahendra. King Mahendra initiated planned development. He developed the concept of the 5-year plan in BS 2013. Nepal was politically, economically, and administratively dependent on India in every way. From BS 2007 to BS 2011, the economic dependence on India was 95%. Mahendra succeeded in bringing it below 60%. As soon as he became king, Mahendra focused on building economic and administrative structures. He managed the economy by establishing the Nepal Rastra Bank and the National Planning Commission. He also worked to lay the foundation of the economy by building physical infrastructure with the help of foreign countries. Balaju Industrial Area, BS 2018, Hetauda Industrial Area, Birganj Sugar Factory, National Trading Limited, Nepal Oil Corporation, Agricultural Tool Factory, Janakpur Cigarette Factory, Banswari Shoe Factory, Cement and Textile Industries, all were established during his time. Similarly, he was successful in doing good works like highway and road expansion, diplomatic campaigns, social and cultural reforms, new National Act, land reform program and withdrawal of Indian Army etc. However, currently, Nepal has also become a republic. But in the eyes of Nepal, a country without a king, this republic has become like a curse. All the industries and factories have been destroyed. All the rulers are immersed in corruption. While the youth have gone abroad in search of work, all the students are eager to study abroad. The country's economy is in shambles. The country is drowning in debt. Everyone is worried about the current situation of Nepal. How many poorer countries than ours have changed their ways? This is the situation of our country. Now let's go to our context. Currently, there are hardly 0.5% Newars in Soneg, that is, Kathmandu Valley. The climate of Kathmandu Valley in Nepal is very good. That is why the people who have settled here do not want to leave. Since it is also the capital, the human pressure is very high. No steps have been taken by the government to control this. Are Newars indigenous or not? Now let's talk about whether Newars are indigenous or not. In my opinion, Newars are indigenous. Because more than 90% of Newars are indigenous. Only the remaining percentage came from outside later. This kind of mixing can happen in any caste. You must have seen the history above and understood it. It seems that there was a Newar settlement in Kathmandu Valley even before the arrival of the Gopal dynasty and the Maheshpal dynasty. That is, it seems that others have been mixing with the Newar community since then. Similarly, some of the Kiratis also fled and some merged into the Newar community. The oldest inscription in Nepal, located in the Changunarayan Temple, is in the Gupta or Lichavi script and the language is Sanskrit. But they were Newari speakers. The Lichavi kings were divided into several kingdoms. That is, the Newari language also spread to different places. Therefore, the Newari language has also diversified according to time and circumstances. There are many differences between the Newari language spoken in Dolkha and the Newari language spoken in Bhaktapur. Not only that, the Newari language spoken in Kathmandu, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur is also slightly different. It seems that the spread of the Newars in this way also happened during the time of the Shah dynasty kings. On the one hand, the Newars were poor in trade and it seems that they were left out in the process of trade. Similarly, when the smallpox disease was rampant, there is history that many Newars were driven to Koshi. Also, when the Mallas ruled for 700 years, they appointed various people to big government posts or lords. Their surnames were determined according to the posts they were appointed to. For example, a minister was called Amatya, the chief of the army was called Pradhan, the one who looked after the king's treasury was called Rajbhandari, and the one who taught the king's children was called Joshi. Their children are still called Amatya, Pradhan, Rajbhandari, and Joshi. The collective name of all these noble groups is called Shrestha. But nowadays, the Shrestha surname has also become a choice for others. Due to the tendency to despise the lower castes, it seems that even the lower castes have started taking the Shrestha surname. During the Mull era, there seems to have been a lot of infiltration in the Newar community. It seems that the kings themselves invited artisans or intellectuals and lured them to settle here. It seems that most of these people were invited from the southern part of Nepal. Therefore, during the survey of land, it seems that many lands were found in the names of these people. The original indigenous people here are farmers and farmers. It seems that only innumerable lands were found in their names. Therefore, many lands are found in the names of moneylenders like Amatya, Pradhan, Rajbhandari, Joshi, Jha, Upthaya and Madhikarmi, etc. At that time, even the surnames of farmers who worked in agriculture did not develop. The National Census 1968 was the first census conducted in Nepal. This census collected data nationwide. According to this census, the total population of Nepal was 56,38,649 and the population growth rate was negative. But this census is not considered scientific. It is limited to head count only, because at that time, surnames were just starting to be added after the name. Do you know that in a small district like Bhaktapur alone, there are at least 700 Newar surnames, which surnames are formed from their profession, specialty, surname, lifestyle, spoken nicknames, etc. That is why it is difficult for other speakers to write Newar surnames. For example, Pentago, Nainan Jamas, Hanju, Maka and Lava etc. have started using the Suwal surname. Even in the 2021 survey, many mistakes were seen in the surnames. In this way, even though they were indigenous Newars, they had to lose their own land. The negative impact of which still seems to be affecting the local honest farmers who believe only in work. The rule of giving half land to the tiller, due to the joint efforts of the respected personality Narayanman Bijukche and the farmers, has given some relief to the farmers. Also, nowadays, as Newars are also teaching their children Nepali and English, the number of Newar-speaking Newars has started to decrease a lot. Most of the Newars in the villages have abandoned their language. If this trend continues, the urban Newars will also be in danger of disappearing. But the good news is that the urban Newars have not abandoned their customs, festivals, traditions, costumes, etc. It seems that local elected members have also provided a lot of support for this. Furthermore, there is also a dispute about whether the Newars are a tribe or not. The Nepali Comprehensive Dictionary published by the Nepal Academy of Sciences defines a tribe as a backward caste that eats fruits grown in the ground by cutting down forests, is backward in education, such as Nagas, Koch, Kusundas, etc., and is not influenced by its immediate environment. The Newars do not fall under this definition. According to this definition, calling the Newars a tribe would be an insult to the Newars. However, the Nepali government has included the Newars in the tribe. The International Labour Organization has defined a tribe as a tribe that has a language, religion, culture, and a distinct language from the main ruling caste of the country. Because a language, religion and culture different from that of the ruling caste are oppressed. The extent to which the Newar's language is oppressed has already been assessed in the past. Therefore, according to this definition, it seems that the Newars are a tribe. If the Newars are a tribe, then the question may also arise as to why the Mathilis are not a tribe. Although the Mathilis have a different language, they belong to Hinduism and Aryan culture. Their religion and culture are in harmony with the religion and culture of the rulers. The Newars are a tribe in the sense that those with a religion and culture separate from the religion and culture of the rulers are called a tribe. The question may also arise as to how the Newars who have once become rulers can become a tribe. But looking at the history above, the Newars have never been a ruling caste. Since the majority of the Mallas among the Mallas came from the Terai, Thakuri, all the Mallas are clearly not Newars. The rulers became Newars by speaking Nepali. When they were rulers, the Newars were separate. It seems that the Mallas started to merge with the Newars only after Prithvi Narayan Shah took away the kingdom of the Mallas. Now, you can decide for yourself whether the Newars are a tribe or an indigenous people. Now we know that when we look at the characteristics of the Newar castes, they are different from other castes. For example, Tamang, Gurun, Magar, Limbu are all based on race. The Tamangs all have the same blood, the race all have the same blood, and similarly, others are of the same race or blood. Not only that, although the speakers of the Nepali language or Khas language are also divided into different castes such as Brahmins, Kshetris and Kami, Damai, Sarki, they are all of Aryan blood. But that is not the case with the Newars. Some Newars are Aryan, some Newars are Mongols and some are of the Ashta Dravidian race. The three races of the world are among the Newars. Not only in terms of race, the Newars are also diverse in terms of religion. In terms of religion, the Newars are now Shaivites and Buddhists. Before Prithvi Narayan Shah conquered the valley, there were Newars who followed Shaivites, Buddhism, Islam and Christianity. After Prithvi Narayan Shah conquered the valley, he ordered all Christians to leave the country and kill those who do not. Therefore, at that time, all the Newars who followed Christianity entered India. Most of them went to the city of Betia and settled there. All those who did not follow were hanged and killed. Thus, since then, the Newars who followed Christianity have disappeared. Now, new Newars who follow Christianity have emerged again. Since the Newar Muslims are very few, they have mixed with the Khas or Hill Muslims and the Muslims of the Terai. Thus, the blood and religion of the Newars are different. Even if you look at their faces, not all Newars are of the same caste. Some Newars have a snub nose, while others have a pointed nose. Therefore, in my opinion, Newar is not a single ethnic group, it is a language or ethnic group. Those who speak Nepali are called Newar.
Newari language is a new language formed by mixing the Sanskrit language spoken by the Lichavis with the Old Karat language. Before Newari language was formed, it is said that the Newars and Tamangs had the same language. The Tamangs continued to speak the old language. It is also said that the Newars began to speak a new language. The working class of Newars, such as surveyors, gardeners, painters, carpenters, dyers, tandukars and farmers, and Jayapis, are all of Tibetan Burman or Mongol origin. Their number is about 90% among the Newars. Let us take the example of some other families within the Newar caste. For example, there are Shrestha among the Newars. Some of the Shrestha are indigenous and some have come from outside. Even if we look at it in terms of culture, the culture of the Newars seems to be ahead of the culture of the world. Regarding the art and artists here, a great historian of Russia, Dr. Bandarevsky, has said it is said that the Renaissance came to the world first in Italy, but this is wrong. There was a Renaissance there in the 15th century, and in Nepal, large world-famous temples and paintings were built in the 11th century. Similarly, during the Mulla period, there was a great development in Ayurveda. This is also mentioned in Korea. Those books discuss the medicines prepared by the great royal physician of Nepal. Thus, once during the Mulla period, the Newars had developed greatly and had gained fame in the world.
The video got too long while I was making it. Also, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments box, so that I can be encouraged to make videos like this. Thank you for patiently watching the video.